So it seems like a pretty steady picture in terms of employment on the small business front. What other themes would you pull out of the latest report?
Yeah, I think it is pretty steady, which is nice because we've seen it drop the last 3 months in the rate of job growth for small businesses. So it's good to see it stabilize to January in the February numbers. One of the things that we're watching is business optimism. You know, if you've watched business optimism, it continues to be high, but it's dropped off the last 5 months, with one of the biggest concerns being able to find and hire the right people to do the jobs. And we're going to watch that to see if that does slow down some of the growth, because if I can't find the right people to fulfill the orders, then it may slow down some of the job growth. So that one we're watching. Also, across the country, all regions are pretty much down, except the South is back in the first spot, and energy is really helping Texas kind of regain the top spot and Dallas regain the top spot, because energy is kind of booming back, and all the small businesses around that are pretty healthy right now for job growth.
You mentioned this idea that, and it's been a complaint for a long time for small business owners, of trying to find people to fill the roles. There's also this counter argument, and I think even the Fed Chair Jay Powell said the other day, look, we're finding that, in fact, there's more slack in the labor market than we expected. And in fact, more people are coming back into the job market. So are you finding there to be evidence that they're still able to expand as they need to and hire?
No, I think the biggest concern that we're finding from small businesses is that they can't find the right people. Now, there may be people available, but they don't have the right skills, particularly in those some of those jobs where there's technical skills needing, welders and plumbers and people like that to fulfill the job orders. So what you're seeing now is an increase in training, so a big need for training, technical training, and some of these small businesses actually paying for that, bringing trainers in to make sure that while they can find some people kind of have been on the fringe, they're at least being trained now and getting the technical expertise they need for the positions.
You mentioned energy as a bit of a bright spot. Are there other kind of industry trends that you would highlight?
Well, manufacturing is down year over year, and we saw some bounce back last year in that. So we're a little disappointed to see manufacturing kind of on the bottom of the job growth list right now. But other services, those discretionary services, are still at the top of the list, even though all sectors are pretty much down year over year. But again, when there's such low unemployment, it is difficult to fill those jobs, and therefore it's hard to get growth. We're hoping that some of these fringe people on the fringe that have not, been in the job force before will continue to come in, be trained, and that'll make sure the growth stays up there.
And Marty, just to get a hit on a theme that's been really in the news now, a lot of folks talking about complaining they don't have as big a tax refund as they expected, and a lot of highlighting of the withholding schedules and whether people are getting the right amount withheld. Has that become an issue among your clients?
Well, we're definitely still hearing it from the client employees, that they had expected larger refunds, or that they generally got a refund and this year are not getting a refund and actually paying a small amount. And so we're watching that to see, will that hurt kind of consumer spending? Consumer confidence is still very high, as you know, on the high year over year and month over month even. So we're not seeing that dampen consumer confidence in spending yet, but we are a little concerned as you get into the prime time for refunds. Will that kind of slow anything on the growth side with people's spending habits because of the refunds?
Marty, we've been talking about that this morning. Wilf made the good point that the strong numbers we see from Target this morning kind of make us wonder if the December retail sales number was really just a false read. Was that a problem that's going to get washed away and really nothing to worry about? What would you say, based on the numbers that you look at, based on all of the information you have?
From what we've seen, that December was a little bit of a surprise. So I think the demand still, from what we see from our clients in the small business arena, the demand is still high. Again, it's really this concern that, can I fulfill the orders because I don't have the people, the employees that or technically trained people to handle the orders that are coming in. So that's probably the biggest concern. But consumer confidence and spending still seems to be strong. The only other thing, Becky, you've mentioned it before, that we're watching is home sales are down about 8%, new home sales from last year. And will that slow small business work around construction and all of that? We haven't seen that yet, but we're a little concerned that that may pop up.